Am I the a-hole for accepting my dying father's invitation, but upsetting everyone in the room for my last words to him? I'll start by saying I'm a man in my 40s. Technically, I'm an only child between my mom and dad. They never married. I was what people used to call a wedlock baby. My mom used me as a weapon to torment my dad for years. She told lies about him abusing her, dragged me along for leverage, and then one day, when I was still young, she basically disappeared. After all that chaos, my dad finally got custody of me. Ironically, when I first lived with him, he wasn't the worst man in the world. He seemed okay, maybe even good at times. But eventually he remarried, had 5 more kids, and everything changed. He became an ultra-Christian, the type of man who thought nothing was ever his fault. No matter what he did, he could run to God, get forgiveness from his pastor and his church friends, and walk away feeling like a saint. At home, though, life was hell. He and his new wife were intensely abusive toward me in every way you can imagine. Physically, emotionally, mentally. They tore me down until there was nothing left. I was the black sheep, the scapegoat, the punching bag. By the time I was 15, I couldn't take it anymore. I ran away and started my own life. And honestly, I never looked back. For decades, he never admitted to any of it. Not once did he acknowledge the beatings, the gaslighting, the cruelty. He would never say he was wrong. I eventually just let it go and cut all contact. We didn't speak for years. Then recently, word came that he was on his deathbed. Suddenly, all the family members who had ignored me for years started piling on the pressure. Go see him. He wants to make things right. Don't you want closure? Against my better judgment, I finally decided to go. When I arrived, the whole family was already there. Everyone was playing the part, acting devastated, whispering about how sad it all was. They treated him and his wife like saints, the pillars of the family. Meanwhile, I stood there knowing the truth, remembering the scars they left behind. Finally, we were face to face. He looked at me, frail and weak, and asked me to forgive him. The room went silent. Everyone was watching, waiting for that Hallmark moment where the prodigal son forgives his father and everyone cries and hugs. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. After everything, there was no forgiveness left in me. Instead, I looked at him and said, "No, but I'll see you in hell." Then I leaned in, kissed him on the forehead, and walked out. You could have heard a pin drop. I didn't plan it. The words just came out. Now I feel conflicted. My family is furious, saying I should have forgiven him, at least on his deathbed. But none of them ever cared when I was being abused. They ignored my pleas for help and gaslit me for years. So I have to ask, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Screw him. Not the a-hole. Your dad didn't care about you even at the end there. He didn't want to do anything to try to make things right with you. He wanted free and easy absolution for his crappy behavior. It's why he waited till the end to ask for forgiveness, to guilt you. It's why he made sure you were surrounded by family, to pressure you. You may have skipped past it, but did he actually apologize? Or did he just jump straight to asking for forgiveness? Yeah, you're probably right. He never, not once in all those years, owned up to any of his behavior, which always drove me crazy. It's also crazy too, because I absolutely remember what he was like crystal clear before he met his new wife and became born-again Christian. He was a sweet man, very gentle, loving, and emotionally intelligent. He used to write poetry and we'd listen to music together and bond on a real level. He became a wildly different man after he remarried, and I became a punching bag. It breaks my heart to this day. I'm sorry for your loss, not the loss of the man who recently died, but the loss of the father he used to be. Yeah, that was always hard. It's really traumatizing experience to see someone you really care about change so rapidly in a scary way. There's a level of betrayal you feel that is really unlike anything else. Not the a-hole. He is not sorry. He's afraid of facing his maker. Yeah, deathbed confessions should be exempt from divine forgiveness clauses. If you're only asking for forgiveness because you're about to face eternal consequences, then you don't really want forgiveness, just absolution. Next story. Am I the a-hole for wanting my parents to show up together and not one parent and step-parent when I was asked for honesty? My parents are divorced and I'm 16, male, the only child from their marriage. I was 4 when they divorced. I was 7 when mom remarried, and 8 when dad remarried. Once they started dating other people, my parents stopped attending the same events. If I had a school play, they took turns showing up. This was encouraged by my step-parents who didn't like the idea of my parents in the same room. No matter what I had going on, they would take turns showing their faces at it. I could win a huge award for something, and it would be mom and stepdad, or dad and stepmom. Even if everyone sat apart, both being there wasn't allowed. I always hated it, and for me it felt worse when my half-siblings got both of their parents at events. I know the difference is my parents are married to my half-siblings' other parents, but it still sucks to be the person who has to choose. And there are times I will be asked if I want mom or dad there more. I've always wished they could go to the same thing, sit on opposite sides of the room and make me run between them. That still sounds better than missing one parent. I used to play piano, parents forced it, so I had a lot of big recitals that I'd have loved to see both attend. Piano wasn't even for me, it was for them, so it stung to have just one parent there. Right now, me and 3 other kids are being put forward to represent our school at a competition. It's being hosted locally, and my parents have already asked me to be honest about who I want there. They said they need to plan ahead to give me what I want. I told them I want both of them to show up instead of just one of them. They said I'd still have 2 people, and I said I wouldn't have my 2 parents though, and they wanted me to be honest, so I'm being honest. I want mom and dad. My step-parents are really unhappy with my honest answer, and my parents are being awkward about it. Am I the a-hole? Tell them it's both or none. They should not need to force their child to mediate between adults. My friend did this, starting in high school. Said if her parents couldn't be adults, they didn't need to sit with the adults. I had to say something similar when some drama happened with friends of my mom just prior to my wedding. They and my mom wanted me to disinvite some friends of my dad over a big fight tantrum. Long story. And the invites had already gone out, plus RSVPs were received. I said they are a bunch of 50 to 70-year-old adults. Act like it. They didn't have to talk to one another. They didn't have to sit at the same table. There were over 100 people coming. They should have been able to manage. Yeah, they still decided to be drama llamas and be the martyrs by refusing to come. I didn't give a crap. Sadly, this will probably continue with a similar situation for OP if this stupid have-sees thing isn't stopped now. High school or college graduation? Nope. Can't manage being in the same place despite it probably being among hundreds of people. Wedding? Nah, they both can't come. Gotta have 2 weddings, lol. I'm going to get downvoted, but you will need to make an ultimatum now that either none come or both come. I say this because if every future event is like this, does that mean only one goes to your graduation, wedding, your future kids' events, funerals? You need to communicate that they're both neglecting you. You need to ask them the question, why do they hate each other so much they are willing to abuse you just to spite the other person? And when they deny this, you tell them it's abusive to neglect me just because they are your part-time parents. Call them out for not being full-time parents to you and that you know they treat you like an obligation rather than an actual son. But you are asking if they can work the same day at being parents for you for just one day. That's exactly what it means. I only get to see one of them for major stuff. The other won't be allowed to go and won't come for me because their spouse is against it. And maybe they don't want to either. I don't know. So, only one of your parents will attend your wedding? And they are okay with this? I agree with everyone else here. They need to grow up, learn how to put someone else first, and get along with each other for short periods. Wedding, graduation, if I end up in the hospital on life support. They'd only be there one at a time. The same thing if I have kids, but I won't be doing that nonsense with them. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to keep in the guest room after he kept joking our newborn isn't his? Me, 29 female, and my husband, 31 male, had our first baby about 6 weeks ago. It's been a whirlwind, between sleepless nights, recovering physically, and learning how to take care of a newborn. I've been completely exhausted, but also trying to soak up every moment. Since literally day 3 after bringing our son home, my husband has been making jokes that the baby isn't his. Our son was born with a full head of dark hair and brown eyes, while my husband is blonde with bright blue eyes. I have brown hair and brown eyes myself, so the baby looks a lot like me. But still, it's perfectly normal genetics. that hasn't stopped him from making comments like, "Guess the milkman came by," or "The postie's genes are strong," whenever people are around. He does it in front of his mates, his family, and even once in front of one of the midwives. I've pulled him aside multiple times and told him to knock it off. I explained that these comments aren't funny, that they make me feel awful, especially right now when I'm vulnerable, hormonal, and barely holding it together with no sleep. He brushes me off every time, saying I'm being too sensitive and that it's just dad humor. But there's a difference between a silly joke and repeatedly implying your wife cheated on you while you're holding your newborn. Last weekend, we were at his mom's house with his siblings and a couple of extended family members. Of course, he made the same joke again about the baby not being his. This time the room went completely silent, and I felt my face go red. I was so embarrassed and hurt I nearly burst into tears right there at the table. Nobody laughed, which told me that even they could see it had crossed the line. When we got home, I told him enough was enough. I asked him to sleep in the guest room until he could give me a genuine apology and agree to stop with the jokes for good. His reaction was to get defensive. He said I was punishing him in his own house and that I'm blowing everything out of proportion. According to him, it's just harmless teasing and I need to lighten up. But to me, it doesn't feel harmless. I'm already dealing with all the insecurities that come with postpartum recovery. My body has changed. I'm overwhelmed and I'm still healing. The one person I should be able to lean on right now keeps making me feel like trash in front of others. I don't think it's unreasonable to want respect, especially in front of friends and family. So I'm stuck wondering, am I the a-hole here? Is this truly harmless dad humor that I'm overreacting to? Or is it actually a red flag that he won't stop, even after I've told him how much it hurts? And more importantly, how do I get through to someone who insists it's funny when it's clearly not? Now for the top comments. Everyone went quiet, either because they saw how inappropriate and unfunny it was, or because they thought he might be serious. If he is teasing, he needs to cut it out, apologize to his wife, and explain to his family that he was not serious. If he won't do that, he needs to explain politely to his wife why he is worried that the child is not his. And he needs to be able to assure her, convincingly, that he is not cheating on her. Thieves think everybody steals. Adulterers think everybody cheat. He's sitting here like, "You're punishing me in my own house. How dare you?" While he insults his wife over and over and over again, in her own house, in other people's houses, etc. She should promise to do a paternity test for him, along with divorce papers, and an expectation that she will get full custody in front of friends and family. When he carries on, she can tell him to chill out, because she's just joking. Not the a-hole. Your husband is being an annoying prick. Tell him to grow the heck up. Also, a little lesson for him. Even if he's blonde with blue eyes, it's still recessive. Dark hair and eyes tend to dominate. If he's being a lil insecure fool, he might as well say it. Thank you. I come from a blonde-haired, green-eyed mother, but my dad was dark, so I'm dark. Blonde hair and blue eyes are recessive. I joke back that it's not my fault he was too dumb to pay attention in science class. If he thinks cheating is fair game for a joke, his intelligence sure as heck is. Not the a-hole. Either your husband is the a-hole who keeps making jokes to hurt you on purpose, or he is an insecure man who thought you'd pop out a little clone of himself. Either way, it's time to respond. I don't understand the humor in saying you're not the father. Is the funny part suggesting that I'm a tramp, or that your boys don't swim? My husband joked a few times it was the milkman. But it was between us, and I would answer with, "Which one?" because I don't remember. The first time I replied like that, he paused. Sleep deprived or not, snappy comebacks for the win. Especially when you hate the alleged joke and turn it back on them. Last story. Am I the a-hole for keeping an expensive necklace my ex gave me for my birthday, even though they want it back now that we broke up? I, 23 female, dated my ex, 24 male for 3 years. Last year, for my birthday, he gave me a necklace, a really pretty silver chain with a small opal pendant. I absolutely loved it. Honestly, it's the only piece of nice jewelry I own. I wore it pretty much every single day, up until we broke up last month. The breakup itself wasn't messy. There wasn't cheating or screaming or anything like that. It was more of a slow fade over time. We sat down, had a long conversation. There were some tears, and I thought we'd both gotten some decent closure. We even wished each other the best. It wasn't dramatic, which is why this latest development is throwing me off. Now out of the blue, he's been texting me asking for the necklace back. He said it was a meaningful gift and that it feels wrong for me to still have it now that we're not together. I honestly don't know how to respond. On the one hand, it was a birthday present. He gave it to me willingly, no strings attached. It's not like I stole it out of his drawer or borrowed something I never returned. It was mine. From the moment he handed it to me, it was my property. But at the same time, I feel awkward. Part of me wants to say no just on principle, because if you give someone a gift, you don't get to take it back later. That's not how gifts work. Another part of me, though, doesn't want to stir up unnecessary drama. We managed to end things without bitterness, and I don't want something like this to turn into a fight. Still, I can't shake how weird the whole thing feels. If it had been something like his hoodie or something I'd borrowed, sure, I'd return it. But this was a gift, and it was special to me. Not just because of him, but because it's genuinely a beautiful piece of jewelry that I don't want to lose. It's the one nice thing I have that makes me feel put together, and it's frustrating that he suddenly wants to take that away from me. So now I'm sitting here, necklace in hand, debating. Do I keep it and risk him being angry, or do I give it back to avoid drama? Was I wrong to hold on to it, or should I stand my ground because a gift is a gift, and it's mine to keep? It was a birthday gift, not an engagement gift. Keep it. Now, maybe if it had been a family heirloom, I'd say give it back. But where it was an actual gift he bought for you, you don't owe it to him. If he is stupid enough to gift a family heirloom, that's on him. No need for OP to correct his mistakes. Legally, it's yours. I once had an ex who gifted me all sorts of jewelry for various holidays while we were together. When we broke up, he wanted it all back. He even called the police on me. The police came to my house. I showed them the jewelry and told them which holiday and birthday they'd been given on. In the end, the police told him that since they were gifts and not associated with a marriage engagement, they belonged to me. So in short, if it's an engagement ring or gift related to an engagement, you must return it. But if it's a gift for any occasion, or just because, then it's yours to keep.